Good run from Bayfi Afrani. Now here is Martin Kakari. Takes on his marker. Clever play from Kakari. Tries to find Duku. Too much for Duku to get at the end of it.
A bit too much from Martin Kakari. We've spoken about his confidence, you know, which is gradually beginning, you know, to find him. But that was a good move. Just a little bit overhit from Duku. Was just trying to time his run there. But there was absolutely nothing he could have done. And Great Olympics, they've been very, very, you know, very tidy at the back this evening. They've been so disciplined, allowed her to go just fewer touches in the box. And if they should keep it this way throughout the first half, it would be very, very disturbing for Didi Dramani's men.
Here's Solomon Ako. Tries to find Islam, but Ali withers the storm. Here's Islam. Osaisibe with a powerful header out. Abdul Karim can't control well. There's a foul. Mensah brings down Solomon Ako. Free kick, Great Olympics.
Yeah, and Solomon Ako is really tricky. You know, this evening he's been a very, very, you know, tough customer for Ransford Mensah to deal with. His movement on and off the ball has really, really created a lot of trouble for Accra Hearts of Oak this evening. And there's a sort of attackers or wingers sometimes you need on your side. You know, players who can win fouls, make something happen when things are being cagey. But then I think some injury concerns there for Accra Great Olympics.
Olympics have a tall order to deal with. They play in Zone 3 of the National Division 1 League in a zone that has got some former Premier League teams also seeking for Premier League qualification. Oko United is in that zone, don't forget. Recently relegated Accra Lions in that zone as well. Former FA Cup champions, Nania FC, are also in that zone, but Olympics are confident they might just get a ticket back to Premier League football in the upcoming season.
Qualification to the Premier League always feels like a birthright to every single Olympics fan. I wouldn't begrudge them at all.
And it's not going to come easy. There's true democracy being tipped by many to book their place. Olympics might just be forced to go for an early substitution. It's not looking good.
He's responding now. The coach not really happy now. He might be forced into an early substitution over there. There's 15 minutes into this game.
Injury force substitution. Sule Adamu would not be happy with this early development. Now let's see what Olympics come up with. Ako's delivery. Ali Mohammed was first to arrive and head the ball away for a Great Olympics corner.
That was a dangerous ball into the box, and you could find the Olympics players with some sort of aggression trying to attack that one. It was pinpoint, you know, from the boot of Ako into the box centrally for them to deal with.
Solomon Ako to take the free kick for Great Olympics. Ben Swanin Hussein, in a desperate attempt to clear the ball, was unable to do it. Jonah Aite picks out Ivan Janim, but it's a goal kick for the Phobians.
Wasn't a bad attempt from Great Olympics. It's not really been, you know, so smooth from Accra Hearts of Oak. We've seen them in the top four. We saw them when they played, you know, in the President's Cup. We saw them in the Gamanche or Mocha Peace Cup. It was so smooth. Today it looks a bit untidy. They are struggling to find grip I don't know if it's due to, you know, the length of the grass, but then that's not how you'd always see a Masoud Didi Dramani team play. And today they've really struggled in the first 16 minutes, but then they'll be hoping to get back stronger.
Martin Kakari checks onto his left foot, looking for space, swings in across. Doku is lurking. Mensah controls and finds Duku. Afrani, now bare feet. Kakari is getting onto the end of it. Lovely skill, he goes down, but there's no foul in it. There's a goal kick.
The referee was just within close proximity to spot that over there. Very tight space for Martin Kakari, trying to use his trickery there to go past his marker, Ivan Ajaman. The referee with the right call.
So, confirmation of the substitution. Great Olympics have been forced to make the first change of this game.
Trying to get at the end of that. Edu doing his best to just shield that one out of play. And that's one of the characteristics about the ACCRA Heart of Oak team. They could go short if they want to, and sometimes they have the ability to go long and find their wingers on the run as well. But then with Olympics, kudos to them already. They've done a good job defensively trying to keep the phobias at bay.
That's a push on his heel by Enoch Esubontin. Referee rightly spotted that infringement.
Yeah, a bit too aggressive there by Enoch Esubontin. You see his hand just resting at the back of Augustus Esu.
Olympics trying to weave their way into the Azabok 16-yard box. Here is Jonah Aite. Now David Kobner, right-footed cross in. Esubontin gets it away, but Hussein gives it back to Olympics. Here is Samo Dapeje. Afrani, Mensah. 20 minutes, no goals at the University of Ghana. Lovely play from Abdul Karim. Here is Hussein, spots the run of Kakari. Kakari has got Bisu to confront. who just got introduced for Kusi, and the idea was good, but Isubonti was not arriving on time.
Yeah, good idea by Martin Kakari, who had to check onto his favorite left foot. But then again, that cross just landing very close to Do Edu, the Great Olympics goalkeeper. You could see the frustration, you know, from Duku, who made the run earlier on.
It's a bit such a ball meant for Duku. Duku has been a bit quiet in this opening 21 minutes. He was full of energy and brilliance when Hazebuk played in the top 4 and even in the President's Cup.
And perhaps because he enjoyed that partnership with Hamza Issa, who is actually also a striker, unlike Mohamed Hussein, who is more of a midfielder, so would want to retreat into midfield and allow him to work alone.
It was in the Besse Manchal More Charity Peace Cup that he announced his presence. Otushe was part of the team that played in the President's Cup. His deal was about to be negotiated by the time with Vision FC, but I tell you what, he seemed to have taken over the striking role at Hazebuk. The big question is, where does Hamza Issa fit into this setup?
You rightly said it, perhaps just right behind him or even beside him with that 4-4-2 flat like they're playing today. Hussein has been very, very mobile, so he's not offered that support for Frank Duku.
Islam against Esibe. He uses his strength to advantage. Esibe brings Islam Mohammed down. Referee whistles. Free kick, Great Olympics.
That's just the right call. Referee very close to the action there. Esibe failing to deal with that initial ball, and you could see his hands all around, you know, Islam Mohammed Barry, and it's just held a good call.
Islam Mohammed Pari was brought into the Olympics team just this era under Sule Mohammed to lead the attack. He joined from a team called Untold Story in ACCRA in the Eastern region. So probably he has an untold story for us to figure out this evening here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium.
That's a metaphor in that one, an untold story, perhaps, to even, you know, tell the Hazebuk fans, but that's quite dangerous for Hazebuk.
Bissiou to take the free kick. Anthony Bissiou. It might just be a left-footed swing from Bissiou, and it's gone horribly wrong.
The roar from the stands, from the Great Olympics fans, tells you, that just sums up that effort from Bissiou. Perhaps, you know, not what he had wanted. He just looked into the skies, you know, with so much displeasure after hitting that one.
Kelvin Osei-Sibe, Abdul Karim joined Hazebuk from Nations FC, having featured for Bechem United in the last couple of seasons before his move to Nations. He only played for Nations for just a season and snapped up by the Phobians. Shaib was trying to pick out Duku, but the Olympics goalkeeper Doa Tiso is not troubled.
The centre-back pairing of Great Olympics, Richard Bucci and then also Ivan Dajiman, they've really done a good job on Frank Duku. He's the...
But he's never lived up to it, Kakari.
Yeah, this might be his season. There again, you can see another Hazebuk player fouled in this one thing. They are making, you know, entry into the third half, but then it's been gradual for them, not as swift as they wanted to be. A couple of fouls, you know, and a couple of free kicks for them, and already they find themselves in a very, very advantageous position.
Free kick taken by Kakari. Gives away a throw into Olympics. Bayfi racing all the way back. Esibe wants to take care of matters And Alfrani gives away possession. Olympics have ideas of attacking, but here comes the Hazabok's keeper, ACCRA. Cleverly calms the situation down for the Phobians. Kakari finds Hussein. He's gone quiet in the last few minutes, but he's trying to thread that one through for Duku. He was not aware of that idea.
Again, a bit of a late movement from Duku there. Couldn't spot that pass from Hussein on time. And that's a fraction late to get onto that one, but Hussein again a bit adventurous there with that pass and nearly finding the striker.
Mensah under pressure, goes to Shaoub. Isio controls well. That kick from ACCRA seemed to have left something on the Olympics attacker Islam Mohamed Pari, and referee whistles for Pari to be attended to. It wasn't deliberate from ACCRA, very close to that clearance, Islam.
I believe that outstretched foot of ACCRA just caught Islam on the thigh, and just look at that again, just after even the thigh, but then close to the chin. And that was just reckless from ACCRA. Just lifted his leg, too high after clearing that ball. Fortunate the referee just didn't get that one.
Hazabok new goalkeeper Solomon Agbasi, a Confederations Cup semi-finalist with Dreams FC 2 seasons ago, and this guy here is the goalkeeper expected to give competition to the #1 choice of the Black Stars, Benjamin Asare.
It takes a lot of confidence, to know that you would want to fight with Benjamin Asare for that #1 spot, especially when he's the safest pair of hands for the Black Stars, and I just think he believes he can.
Hazabok trying to turn the heat on Olympics.
The body check, from Martin Kakari, the in-swinging cross, but it was Mohamed Hussein trying to get his head onto that one.
Olympics in the middle, combining passes so well and leaving the Hazabok midfielders chasing shadows, but it's clearance from Mensah. Chance for Islam. Islam against ACCRA. Reasonably defended from Jose ACCRA. Solomon Ako. Here is Augustus Isio. Has will take possession. Here is Duku. Abdul Karim. The ball looked to have crossed the line. Good decision from the assistant referee.
Yeah, not crossed the line a bit. But then Abdul Karim trying to go for the nutmeg instead of just playing his teammate through. He worked hard today.
just gone by was the CEO of Hoho United. They have a first Premier League game against Atsavok. He's here to just spy on the Phobians. Here is Bayfi, sends in a cross, away by the Olympic centre-back Bochwe. Now here is Afrani. Good ball to Mensah. He wants to shoot from the distance, but Bochwe will take over for Olympics. Islam, poor pass from the middle.
Teams are struggling to field grip, especially Great Olympics. They've not really been able to string 4 or 5 passes together since the start of this game. They've resorted to the long balls, but Heart of Oka have also been able to deal with everything that has been thrown at them.
Here comes Kakari, who swing from the left to the right. Chance for Duku. He turns and finds Esubontin. That was a big chance for the Phobians.
That was just what they needed to just bring life back into.
Forward and looking for options. He finds Abdul Karim. The former ACCRA Lions man finds Mensah. Here is Hussein, beautiful skill. He's got going backwards, coming from offside position.
Yeah, right from the red zone. And credit to the Great Olympics back line, you know, and just look at that. Just moved from that offside position before receiving the ball, and he's really worked so hard, but then he's not been able to comment from Duku. We've seen from Duku a bit more isolated up front and not getting that needed support he would. But Hussein is a number 10, and that's what he's been asked to do today. He's been given the license to roam all over the pitch. He's done that, but then it's not really been productive as we speak.
Great Olympics, who opened their Division League campaign with a date against fellow former Premier League side Inter Allies, with the Phobians beginning their campaign with a date against newly promoted Hoho United FC. These games, coupled with the ones played in top 4, the President's Cup, the Gbese Manche More Charity Peace Cup game, must have given Didi Dramani a fair idea of the Arsenal is going to deploy when the campaign starts early next week.
Most definitely, this is an entire new 11, with the exception of a couple of players that consistently played. You know, I think it's just a new...
The Phobians with a chance, but it's an awkward clearance from Boche, and goalkeeper Doa Tiso will step up to the occasion.
Yeah, still speaking about ACCRA Heart of Oak, you know, the sort of materials Masoud Didi Dramani has at his disposal. You had Abdul Karim not starting any for most of the games they played. Upon Friday, yeah, he was a starter, but then I think he's knew that position. Enoch Esubontin wasn't really an out-and-out striker or starter for the team. Martin Kakari himself has seen time on the bench, so the
Ghazali screaming at Mensah. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, he's been reckless, you know, especially whenever he's come toe-to-toe with Solomon Ako at the left-hand side of the ACCRA defense. Ako is quite tricky, and you know, he is a very good player. He showed that all evening.
Augustus Osio to take the free kick. Bends one to the far post. Shayoub stays in his post. Header away by Bayfi. And Abdul Karim will run to the end of it. Tries to put one through for Esu Bontain. Back to Abdul Karim. Now they can break away from the left-hand side and Mensah to Kakari. Afrani. Other fans have enjoyed how the team has played under Didi Dramani, describing their players, the Didi ball. Here is Esu Bontain from the pass of Bayfi, the former Wafa man, back to Bayfi. Bayfi was on loan at Dreams FC last season, but the Phobians recalled him and allowed Suraj to go on a permanent deal with the Still Believe boys. Here is Abdul Karim. Now Mensah. Kakari just out to control that ball. Bayfi through ball. Lovely turn from Mr. Bontain. But that's some good defending from BCU. Now Bayfi can send a decent cross. Again, it's cleared this time by Bochwe. Esibe. It's Olympics on the offensive. Ose Esibe nearly gifted the ball to Islam Mohammed, but the flag was up against Olympics for offside. It was Islam in that position.
So Esibe nearly a suspect over there, and just a fraction offside. The referee to call that, and now it looks like Hearts of Oak are really finding the grip they missed during the first 30 or 35 minutes.
Good run from Mr. Bontain, stopped in his tracks. Olympics have barely made any dangerous incursions into the Phobian territory in the opening 40 minutes. Karim. Boachi goes down. Bayfi will be lucky not to get a yellow card. Samuel Boachi joined from Inter Allies. He was actually captain for Inter Allies in last season's Division 1 league, and Olympics snapped him up even before the start of this new season.
And with that role and then that jersey number comes lots of responsibilities for him. Donning the number 10 used to be there. It's no more there.
Here is Martin Kakari for Hearts of Oak, but the final delivery letting him down as a clearance away by Ejanim.
He should be impressed with what Kakari is just adding, the kind of bite he's adding to the Hearts of Oak attack. Already he's, putting a couple of balls through, and they've been dangerous balls for Great Olympics.
Duku unhappy with the decision of the referee, but it was always going to be against them.
They warmed themselves up into this game. It's quite evident how they're moving the ball around swiftly and smoothly, something they failed to do when the game started.
Ali is looking for Mensah to come to his rescue. Boachi goes down, no foul. Here is Abdul Karim, but the Olympics attacker stays down. Kakari trying a cheeky back heel. Boche gives the ball away. Here is Duku. Bisu is tracking back. Duku's ball is straight to Atiso. But Olympics have a player down, is Samuel Boachi, the former Inter Allies captain.
And then a series of errors over there, allowing Duku to just break free, away from two Red Olympics defenders, and that's what he's been searching for all game. He's grown frustrated, but then you can see that, just look at that, look on his face tells you how frustrated he's been. But it was a good chance. It was nothing. It came from nothing at all. He just had to battle, two defenders to win that ball and just dial that one on target. Quite ambitious from the Hearts of Oak striker.
Hearts of Oak with a new look, technical setup. Majority of them former employees of the arrivals in Kumasi. They have Didi, who coached Kotoko to Premier League success. Goalkeepers trainer Najau Isa. He's been part of the Kotoko family in the last 2 seasons, and former assistant coach Abdullah Ghazali, who last season coached Basiki Holy Stars, decided to journey to the capital and join the Rainbow Lads. Abdul Karim is looking for Kakari. Coolly collected by Ako. Here's Augustus Esio. Ivan Ajanim gets it away. Here is Islam. Now Bisiu.
Quality has been glaring since the start of this game. ACCRA Hartlepool, they've really exerted some force. You know, they've only lacked in the attacking third, decision making whenever they advance, but they've really been convincing whenever they're in possession.
We're doing 2 minutes of additional time. It's 45 minutes already under the lights at the University of Ghana Stadium here in Legon, Accra. It's the 2 city rivals, Olympics and us, drawing goalless. Isubontin is looking for Hussein, but ball is cleverly cleared away by Bochwe. Poor touch from Boache. That's a heavy shove from Isubontin, and he says, I just went with my shoulder, but referee doesn't see any of that. Jonah Ita wins the foul for Olympics.
Yeah, a bit more combative there from Isubontin. This is one of the players who, you know, was a French player last season.
He was nearly sold.
Nearly sold, and gradually it looks like he's finding his feet under Asud Didi Dramani.
Came to Azabok with a lot of promise under the recommendations of Samuel Boadu, but I tell you what, Isubontin has not lived up to it since joining Azabok. Two additional minutes already done here in Legon. Referee Theophilus Seche might just be wrapping it up for the first half of this game. Here is Hussein looking for Kakari. There's a clearance away by David Corbiner. Ransford Mensah's throwing straight to Atiso, and that's the whistle to end the first half of this 2025 Democracy Cup between 2 city rivals in the capital, Hartlepool and Olympics. Not so much goal scoring opportunities created, but it's been an interesting fixture we've witnessed in the opening 45 minutes. Half-time at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, 2025 Democracy Cup. Goalless between Hartlepool and Olympics.
University of Ghana Sports Stadium in Legon. What a first 45 minutes. Both sides have showed that, yes, indeed, they are at loggerheads. They have showed the intensity in the first 45 minutes. And yes, chances have been created both sides. But Accra Hearts of Oak seem to have the edge based on the sharpness of their men up front. But Olympics has also been wonderful in defense, clearing everything that came their way in the first 45 minutes. It's halftime here at the Accra Sports Stadium, and Blackgate and Nanedu have joined me. Blackgate, first 45 minutes, did it go the way you expected?
Absolutely, because I told you I was expecting an end-to-end stuff here. For Hearts of Oak, they try to play their normal games in the faces of Great Olympics. But Great Olympics pick a clue from watching Hearts of Oak played against Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the last game of the GACA Top 4 competition. And what the Olympics did, that worked to perfection for Kosula Adamu's team, was not to allow Hearts of Oak to play their normal game in central midfield. He loaded the midfield. He started the game with a 3-5-2 formation. Yeah. He never changed his tactics. He choked the midfield and made sure that they've overcrowded the midfield. If you look at Hearts of Oak, they tried to play on the left flank where Martin Kakari was operating from. In terms of the right flank in Enoch Esubonting, he was staff of decent services. And then if you look at what Great Olympics did, they tried to play through their top marksman in Islam Muhammad. He basically gave Kevin Ose-Asibe and then Ali Muhammad a tough game in that first 45 minutes. But for Hearts of Oak, if they are to break down this stubborn Great Olympics team, then they will have to do something extraordinary to be able to carve them open at premium.
I see. Okay. First 45 minutes has gone. Nanedu, you predicted a slim or a slender lead for Accra Great Olympics, but I'm sure you've been impressed with what you've seen so far from Olympics.
I think Olympics is doing well. You know, I predicted a first half win for Olympics, but I think they've done their best, especially through the right side of their team, the right back. They are working hard, trying to throw men more forward for the Olympics team. When you look at the House of Oak team, they want to play the ball through the middle. That is why Olympics team has overcrowded that place. So it's making things difficult for House of Oak to handle Olympics in that middle. And that is one thing that is working for them. Frank Duku is not getting that supplies that he needs for the midfield because of the way Olympics is operating in the midfield. I think in the second half, he should throw more wingers into the game. Try to cross the ball into the 18-yard box. That is where you can get the strength out from players like Frank Duku. So far, I'm impressed with what I've been seeing from Olympics. For you to hold on to House of Oak in the first 45 minutes, I'm happy for them.
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of fans here. Right behind us, we see Nat Brew also getting ready to perform for the fans out here. But second 45 is coming up. What will be the expectation? Are you expecting any significant change in the build-up of Accra Hearts of Oak?
Absolutely. In terms of their approach, they started in a 4-4-2 formation. They have Hamza Issa on the bench, and if Hamza Issa is supposed to come onto the pitch, then it will add an extra bite for Hearts of Oak in terms of what they will do. But the most important thing is in that first 45 minutes, Olympics were able to deal with whatever Hearts of Oak has thrown to them, and Frank Duku has been left redundant. It was only Martin Kakari that was the most exciting player for the Phobians in them. For Godidi Dramani, he will need to take off one of his wingers and try to play a typical 4-3-3 formation to be able to have Hamza Issa partner Frank Duku on top, because whatever they've done in that first half, Olympics had perfect answers to that.
All right, like I told you earlier on, it's fun and excitement. Behind us, you can see the dancers from Nat Brew's camp. So what we're going to do is that we don't want to leave you viewers out of the fun. We will switch over to what's happening on the field of play. Let's take a look at the legend himself as he performs in front of His Excellency the President. And we may come your way again as the match progresses.
Eritrea, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Ghana, Guinea, Gambia, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia, Libya, Malawi, Mauritania, Mauritius, Morocco, Madagascar, Mozambique, Mali, Nigeria, Niger, Namibia,
Swaziland, Sudan, South Africa, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Senegal, Seychelles, Togo, Tunisia, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe.
So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Zumanguru, you know what you're shown. What you're getting, what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Zumanguru, you know what you're shown. Manchester, you know Zumanguru, you know what you're getting, what you're shown. You know, Bamasa, you know, Yasa, you know what you're shown. Get your Israel, come on, get your Ethiopia, get down what you're shown. Abaka, you know, when you're a full character, I get you one year, I'm a young friend. Abaka, full character, I get you one year, I'm a young friend. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cabonian Motu, I'm a Cabonian Watu. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cabonian Watu. Them say you don't fit jump. Them say we don't fit jump. Them say we don't fit jump. Them say you don't fit jump. Them say we never fit jump. I'm a girl when you go to a win, I get you more prayer, what girl, what you
Hello, welcome back for second half commentary of this 2025 Democracy Cup. Hearts of Oak and Olympics did not produce any goals in the first half. Back from recess, Olympics yet to make changes to the team that went out on a break. The Phobians keeping up with the same starting lineup that began the game. Hearts of Oak were slightly the better of the two sides in the first half. Olympics failed to create any decent chances and barely troubled goalkeeper Shoaib. And back from recess is Olympics, who will get us underway for second half action here at the University of Ghana Stadium in Legon.
Yeah, Great Olympics, they really defended gallantly throughout the first 45, and ACCRA perhaps were the better side, but then the score line says otherwise.
Here we go for second half. Here is Bisiu gifting the Phobians with the first throw-in of the evening here in the second half. For Olympics coach Sule Adamu, it will be a major statement following his appointment as Olympic coach from Oko United last season if he wins this Democracy Cup. Amankwa Befi, that was a rash challenge on the Olympics midfielder.
Yeah, and that was on Christian Dapa and Amankwa Befi.
Boche's delivery. Flicked on by Boache. But Mensah, that's a poor touch from Mensah. Good play from Solomon Ako down the right side. Here is Islam, back to Ako. Islam gives the ball away. The former Dambot player seems to have risen to the point where he's made the Azabok left back position a no-go area for any of the charges in the setup.
Yeah, and I think he also won the hearts of, the Hearts of Oak faithfuls with those good whips, as far as dead ball situations are concerned. He's quite an expert with free kicks.
Here is Boche, nearly got himself into trouble. Now Ali, he was fouled by the former Intala's Captain Boache.
Mohamed Ali knew he was just going to win that ball, and Boache a bit, aggressive there. That arm shown extended towards the face of Mohamed Ali. And Great Olympics, I believe they just start with this second half with renewed energy.
Here is Befi, it's a good ball to Kakari, down in the box for the Phobians. He wants support and Befi provides him support, but Befi's whip unable to beat the Olympics backline. Here is Esibe again. Goes low to Kakari. Kills the ball in and has the ball have a corner. Final touch on the ball coming from Ivan Ejanim.
And those were some good series of play from ACCRA Hearts of Oak. And just look at that Kakari with the outside of his boots, to just hit that one into space. But then that was good defending by Great Olympics.
Kakari with the corner for Hearts of Oak. Swings one in, headed away by Boche. Has of a chance, that is cleared away again by Ivan Ejanim. The Phobians piling pressure in the second half. Hussein. Esibe. Kakari, beautiful skill. A chance to shoot. Esibe shoots. Atiso couldn't deal with it the first time, but he's made amends.
That lazy run from Martin Kakari there. What a player he's been this evening. And just look at that. The bend on the ball. And then just too close to the goalkeeper. Edu.
Duku on the run. Good defending from Bochwe. Boche was with the Olympics team last season who failed to book their Premier League ticket. Here is Duku up against Boche, and Atiso is up for it.
Clever defended by Great Olympics. Richard Boche putting his body on the line, obstructed from Duku from making that clear run to get onto the end of that ball. They've been smart with their defending.
Kakari, he's been lively in the opening stages of the second half. He tries to squeeze one through those legs in the Olympics back line. Now, Islam. On the right side, he picks up Solomon Ako, who switches delightfully to the left-hand side. Jonah Aite. Boache. Kobna. It's a good ball on the right side. And Ako is stopped in his tracks by Mensah. Now Abdul Karim. They can break away from the middle now. Kakari up against Siu. Afrani, former Kim Faisal midfielder, second season with the Phobians. He's been troubled by injuries. Hopefully he gets an injury-free season to prove his worth in this setup. Kakari to Afrani. Kissed the ball away. Osei Sibe. Composure and confidence at his best. Not the best of passes from Abdul Karim as BCU will not allow Amanko Abefi to take advantage. Clever play from Great Olympics. This is delightful to watch. There's Aite. Now Boache up against Esibe. Good tackle, but Esibe over elaborates and gives the ball away.
For a second, he thought he was going to get himself a free kick there. And two players on the turf. Currently, they're really lively. ACCRA had to book through Martin Kakari in the first 7 minutes of the second half. Still not shown any sort of conviction in the final third.
Another free kick for Great Olympics. This time, it claims innocence, but Olympics would like to take advantage of it.
And that's the incident again. Sibe for a second had his hands around Jonah Ite, pulling him to the ground.
Samuel Boache, the former Inter-Allies player, to take the free kick. He wanted by some Premier League team, but decided to opt for Great Olympics. Olympics have free kick. Watch it to the far post. Headed away by the lanky Afrani. Ismontin uses his space to advantage. Here is the former Wafa speedster. Swings one to right, is aiming at Kakari. And Kakari nearly lost it to Boache. He does want to keep the ball. Good play from Kakari, but the final match just can't go through. Here in Mensah, he can shoot from his angle. He shoots and is going disappointingly out for a goal kick.
Chances are going again for ACCRA. They are creating all the chances. Martin Kakari has been in the thick of affairs, but this time Ransford Mensah right at the edge of the box. It's still that one, and with ability to hit those balls, from dead ball situation, he should just be directing this one target. And Atiso not put to work on that occasion. And you need to direct the balls on Atiso. You need to make feel your presence, and it's what has failed to do. Just one shot on target in the second half, and it came through Kakari.
Here is Islam to Akko. Promising move from Great Olympics. Cross I'm seeing. Watch is lurking. Controls the ball. He's got bare feet behind him. Kill for nimble footers. Swings one. No problems for Shoaib.
And everyone went missing for a second in the box for Great Olympics.
BCU beginning to find an antidote to the tricks of Kakari. Jenim nearly giving the ball away, but he shows his strength and intelligence. Lovely play from Great Olympics.
Yeah, confidence is skyrocketing now in Great Olympics because it looks level now, but then that was that incident again. Ivan Ajiman just doing it all on his own. 3 heart-of-oak players and just manages to stay composed.
Akko. Here Christian Dapa. Now BCU. He plays Samuel Kusi and is not giving a bad account of himself. The drive from Samuel Boade. Blocked by the eventual offside against Islam Mohammed Pare.
He's enjoying that physical contest. Islam, he's come up a couple of times against SCB and then also Ali Mohammed. Really enjoyed it. First time from an offside position trying to heckle the defender.
Hatsaboka coming up with 2 substitutions. Double switch for the Phobians upon Afrane. So Kwesi Asma comes in for Mohamed Hussein, and upon Afrane's place is taken by the enterprising George Paku. Paku joined from Accra Lions and it's been a delight to watch since his arrival. He's played a pivotal role for the Phobians in recent successes. Isibet gives the ball away. Here is Islam. But Asma, hurriedly called up to duty. Ali. Amankwabe's ability to play as a utility, his dexterity and his understanding of the game is something that Didi Dramani will count on going into the new season.
He's a coach, he loves, the dynamism of the game. He's quite malleable with the setup all the time.
Here is Bayfi trying to thread one for Kakari. Now Bayfi. Asma. Kelvin Esibe. His only problem has been over-elaborating and sometimes indecision on his part. But beyond that, he's an exceptional player on any day.
Yes, Kelvin Esibe. Remember, that crunch game when they visited Kumasi Santi Kotoko last season, and he was by far the best player until he put a foot wrong in the dynamism of that game, and that has been his weakness as a player. But then that earlier incident there between Ivan Ajiman and then also Duku just colliding. Talk about Paco, who just came on. He was such a delight to watch in that game against Heart of Lions a couple of weeks ago, and you can only imagine how he's going to, bond with someone like Martin Kakari.
Here's Estebantin's cross. Befi arrives, but he can't go for the first time effort, and decision goes in favor of Great Olympics and Bayfi stays down.
Yeah.
Here is a Kotoko diehard fan, a member of the Kotoko Communications team, Nidako, at the stadium to root for Great Olympics.
He's signaling a yellow card to be shown to Bayfi, you know, for simulation there, but that was that earlier incident here. Not enough of it, you know, for a penalty, but then Bayfi left in some pain there after colliding with the defender Ivan Ajimane. You talk about how, you know, versatile he is as a player, sometimes playing as a wing back, sometimes playing as a right back, sometimes playing as a right winger, and that's the sort of, you know, dynamism he's added to his game. And we've also spoken about Didi Dramani and his system, playing as with a 3-back system in one game. The next game he introduces the 4-back, the next time is the 4-4-2, the 4-2-3-1, and these players are buying into the concept, and it's even making it easier for him to change as, you know, and when he wants to, making it so easy for him.
Minutes under the lights at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium in Legon. Olympics and Hearts yet to score. Bisiu at Bayfi, good ball to Paco. The former Accra Lions midfielder just can't keep the ball in.
He doesn't look sharp, Paco. Trying to warm himself into the game. We saw how both teams struggled in the first 30 minutes trying to find grip until they were able to massage very well, you know, the turf and just find the right rhythm. And he just needs to do extra sprints, extra work, just to be at the same level with his teammates.
Free kick, foul committed by Christian Dapa, who joined from Tudu Mighty Jets before the start of the season. These days, Mighty Jets are languishing in the second division. Mohamed Mensah's cross straight to the Olympics goalkeeper. He does not handle it first time. He struggled to deal with the deliveries on first-time basis.
Okay. You wouldn't say that the pitch is slippery or soggy. It's not being wet. You know, these are in wet conditions, but Atiso has really struggled with the first balls, and that's something Hearts of Oak should really keep an eye on. They need to send the balls to him. They need to fire shots at him. They need to put him to work. He's virtually had a field day, you know, for most part of the game.
Hearts of Oak coming up. Emmanuel Amankwa takes the place of Yamankwa Bayfi.
I like the placement there. Amankwa Bayfi, after, you know, colliding with Ivan Ajimane a couple of minutes ago, seems to have felt something in his elbow.
Here is Islam, but the flag is up for offside against Islam.
Good job at the back, Hearts of Oak. They've had a chunk of possession, but then they've also kept an eye on the fast breaks by Great Olympics, especially with Islam leading the lines for them. Really done a good job as Sibe and also Muhammad Ali.
Esibe. Here is Asma. Hazabok has seen a lot of the balls, but nothing productive yet. That's a very cynical challenge on Paku by the Great Olympics midfielder David Kobna.
Yeah, quite clumsy very dangerous there from Paco. Just look at that. A little bit late slid in the turf before just making contact with Paco.
Abdul Karim. He used to play as right back for Nations last season. Amanko's ball. That's a poor effort. Poor effort from Asma. Former Hearts of Oak midfielder Benjamin Afutu watching from the stands. And coincidentally, the last time Hearts of Oak beat Olympics, Afutu scored in that game.
Core part of that team that won the league, but then that was just disappointing from Kwesi Asma.
Now Olympics will have their turn to make some changes. Solomon Ako. He's had a very decent game on the right wing. Joined Olympics from Zelina, Africa just this season. So David Sewonu replaces Jonah Ayite. And Solomon Aku also makes way.
I think that there's a great Olympics player on the turf currently. Looks like it's slow.
Caleb Amankwa, former Hearts of Oak defender. He also played for Aduana before in the top flight. Part of that West African Football Academy generation that included the likes of Majida Shimeru, Gideon Waja, Mohamed Al Hassan, Razaka Balora, and the likes. Amankwa was actually their junior, but he rose through the ranks and got transferred later on. Cobner's delivery. Asma. It's a good ball, but Bisiu trying to win the ball off Kakari, whose work rate has been very impressive in the second half. Too much on that ball for Abdul Karim. Now Olympics on the move. Here is Inti. He's up against Ali Mohammed. Inti to Sewonu. Sewonu's drive headed down by Esibe. Great reading of the game by the right back Augustus Esio.
It's just what you need sometimes to stop danger when it's just, you know, looming large, and that's what he just did over there. Hearts of Oak would need to be very, very careful. They are yet to score in the game, and they are throwing more men forward in an attempt to get the first goal, and that's leaving spaces behind for Great Olympics to attack. And they've also been very, very quick with the breakaways.
Karim was not watching, but Esibe should have been precise enough. Now, Emmanuel Amankwa. He's got Kakari on his right. He finds Kakari. He goes past Bisu. Kakari with a right-footed cross. Here is Asma. Chance for Azabo. Paku goes past his marker. Tries to dink one to Esubontin. That's the drive, and it's the opening goal. The Phobians are up by 1 goal. Asma breaks the deadlock for the Phobians on the 17th-minute mark of the game. Hatsaboka up by 1 goal to nil in the 2025 Democracy Cup. They've been the dominant of the two sides in terms of possession in the second half, and they rightly deserve to be on top at this point in the game. Hatsaboka 1, Olympics 0.
Rightly deserved for the Phobians, but then that arrow and that blood will be there on the hands of Atiso, though, who just allowed that one to sneak past his fingers into the post, but then take nothing away from Hatsaboka. They've been the most brilliant side. They've been the best side in the second half, or even the entirety of the game. But then Kakari has been brilliant. Just look at that, selflessly lays down that one into the box, and then Paku recovers again. But then at this point, it was just not danger for them until Paku had to head that one down onto the path of Asma, who just hit that one on the half volley, and Atiso, the culprit here.
That's a blunder, but the big question is, did the bounce of the ball on the turf take anything away from the goalkeeper's effort to grab the ball? Hatsaboka would not mind. They have their opening goal. Hearts 1, Olympics 0. Atiso's anticipation was not for the ball to bounce before hitting the back of the net, but yellow card flashed to Great Olympics. Christian Dapa.
Yeah, he's been boisterous, Dapa.
Very, very.
Working sharp in midfield for Great Olympics. But you spoke about the ball bouncing, and yeah, sometimes it makes it difficult for the goalkeeper, but I think Atiso should be doing better. You know, he had that right, you know, within reach. He could have just, you know, pummeled that away from danger, and unfortunately trying to grab that made it even more difficult for him.
Emmanuel Amankwa, one of the versatile boys in this Hatsaboka team, plays as a right back and left back, and here is Kakari again with some magical touch. Lovely pass. Asma slips and falls, and Olympics will take up matters. Esibe first in the air. Boachi stopped by Amankwa right before referee Theophilo Secher. Free kick.
And this is the time of the game where you wouldn't want to, you know, take your eye off the game, not even for a second over there, and it's getting even more hostile between these two sides, especially ACCRA Hatsaboka just took the lead. You know they would want to win, but then they would have to get a win the hard way, especially against Great Olympics.
Here is Kakari again, putting up a man of the match performance from this right wing. It's Asma with a cutback, but Olympics will not be caught ball watching for the second time.
Down the stretch, that's where you need your best players to show their quality, and Kakari just making things work for ACCRA Hatsaboka. Whenever he's on the ball, you could sense danger. Whenever he's on the ball, you could feel the Hatsaboka are just going to get something done over here.
Hatsaboka coming up with 2 more substitutions. Hamza Isa likely to join the fray. He takes the place of Duku, who has been very quiet this evening, comparing this evening's performance to what he's exhibited in the previous games.
He was quiet.
Paku's corner, headed away by Botre. Boache. Someone who beaten to it by Amankwa. Here is Abdul Karim. Now Henry Boateng. Hamza Issa. The lead striker for the Phobians under coach Ouattara last season. Yet to hit his form in the preseason games the Phobians have played so far. Amankwa's throwing. Esubontin tries a spectacular, but it's gone wrong for a goal kick to Olympics.
Wouldn't have allowed that one to beat him for the second time in this game, but then Hearts of Oak are trying to stretch the back line of Great Olympics. They are not using the channel often. They are playing balls to their wingers, making the fullbacks run. They're growing tired now, and it looks likely they could even get a second with the way they are pressing very, very hard.
Now Olympics will equally come up with substitutions of their own as Didi Dramani throws more men in to consolidate their lead. Olympics will do the catch-up as they chill the Phobians. Al Hassan, it's lost possession. Should have been Mohamed Ali. Now, with some 14 more minutes to play, the big question is, can Olympics find the equalizer, or Didi Dramani will win another silverware for the Phobians?
It looks likely now with the Phobians with a 1-0 lead now. They've been in firm control of this game. They've dominated every single quarter. You know, they've been so good. And with Great Olympics, if they would really want to get a win over their city rivals, they would really need to dig deep as well.
Good run, Olympics. Now BC was doing the chase, and someone who wants to get on shows great strength and desire. That's what to hang on to possession. Good touch from Paco, but the referee whistles for the initial foul on BCU.
Yeah, that was a bit late from the referee. And BCU, he's also really played his part in this game for Great Olympics.
Olympics nearly grabbing the equalizer. Impressive play from Great Olympics. That drive from Osafwenchi nearly troubled Shoaib.
Quick transition of the ball, and just look at that, just on the 10, hitting that one fiercely. Shoaib not taking chances.
Corner for Great Olympics. The Dade boys are trailing the Phobians, and the corner comes to the near post. Here's Osafwenchi, and Paco takes over for the Phobians. Throwing. For Hearts of Oak's Cobness effort could only go past for a throw-in.
And Great Olympics, they've not really been, you know, impressive with their set pieces. They had a couple of them in the first half, some free kicks and corner kicks as well, but nothing impressive from the Dade boys. Because Hearts of Oak has made it very difficult for them, you know, to even create anything meaningful from open play. And these are the things you need to resort to, especially going into a league season where sometimes away games will be so difficult for you. especially with the away or home fans also, you know, against you. You just need to make good use of these set pieces, and they've just failed to do that. But then, what about that for a strike again? Just 110, and he had just one thing on his mind: just get that ball on target. But Schweib with that good reflexive save over there.
Hatzavok will be delighted to have 3 goalkeepers they can rely on during the course of the season. They brought in Agbasi, who last played for Dreams 2 seasons ago, and have Ghana's current #1 goalkeeper in their fold as well. Kobna. Here is Osafwenchi. Had an earlier effort parried by the Hatzavok goalie. Boche, there was a push on Boche by Hamza. He's going to get a yellow card for that. Referee was right there.
Yeah. Hamza, it's just a shame his first real, you know, reaction in the game has to be his name in the books of the referee, but he just had to take one for the team with just about 9 minutes to end proceedings. You know, he just wasn't also going to just watch aloof for that, you know, to turn into a big chance for Great Olympics.
Olympics. Now they have a free kick. Quite a distance. Kobna is there. Augustus Esio is also there. He goes to the left and finds Bisiu. Bisiu's cross headed down by Paku. That touch from Kobna goes straight to Paku, but Bisiu wins it. Sewonu gives it away. Osesibe clears it only as far as Kobna. He finds Boche. We're into the last 8 minutes of the game. Boche will go up to the right hand side. He's aiming at Inti. Lovely skill from Inti to go past 2 Hatzavok players, but he just fell down. Wanted the referee's whistle for a foul. Olympics bench reacts, thinking it should have been to the advantage.
Yeah, that's what they are thinking, but I think I'll go with the referee's decision there. But another, you know, simulation there. He's just fortunate not to have gone into the books of the rest. It's getting more hostile and even more combative between these two sides.
This should be a yellow card. Augustus Esio, needless, reckless on the part of Esio on the young chap.
Yeah, and it was the first touch to just move away, you know, from the player Henry Boateng, you know, with a lovely first touch, and it makes the work so easy for him, and Esio would just have to, you know, just pull him back to deny him any chance of creating another big scoring opportunity for Hatzavok.
'83 minutes. Hearts leading the Olympics 1-0. Mensah all the way back to Schweib. Sibe, Amankwa, Boche gives it away to Paku. Esubontin, he's been moving from the right wing to the left wing, and he's been very lively throughout the game this evening.
He's been tireless as well. He's not showing any signs of tiredness at all. He's worked so hard, you know, attacking and defending, helping his fullbacks as well with their defensive duties, and that's what you expect from your players. Sometimes during pre-season, you just want to see that full fitness, and you know you can count on them when the tougher season starts, and Esubonte is just giving that to his head coach.
getting a bit physical between Asma and Isio.
Yeah, Asma believes that the last touch had come of his shoe, and I think that should have been a corner. You could see both of them just sliding into the advertising board.
Paku. Esubontain. As
The players getting tired. This, you know, as a